Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us on this GradCracker webinar with Clough. So today we're joined by graduates Adi, Alex, Amana and Siddhant, and we're going to be talking all about their experiences so far, projects that they've worked on, and also training and development and highlights. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with Adi. So Adi, thank you very much for joining us today. So tell me a little bit about your background, so where you went to university and what did you study?
Sure. So I did electrical electronic engineering at Imperial,
Perfect, lovely.
and then I graduated in 2022, and then I started with Blake Clough in around this time last year, so
Okay.
start of 2024.
Lovely. And tell me about your current role at Clough. What do you get up to?
So I'm a power systems consultant, and the bulk of the work I do is to do with power system studies. So this is to do with looking at, for example, offshore wind or battery storage facilities. This is doing different studies to either design these plants from an electrical perspective or doing simulations to test for compliance with the kind of the relevant grid requirements.
Okay.
And then in addition to this, I've also done bits of scripting and some other work.
Perfect. Sounds like you've been up to a lot in the past year, Addy. So tell me a little bit more about the different projects that you've worked on.
So I've worked on quite a few offshore wind and, like I said before, on battery energy storage.
Yeah.
And these are kind of the big studies where the work gets split up among different engineers. Um, and this involves a lot of a sort of a mix of design work, so designing various different electrical components uh, according to sort of what the client wants, and also doing compliance studies. So the two sort of feed into each other. You design electrical components to make them compliant, and then you also sort of run the compliance simulations to make sure everything's compliant. And then if it's not, you sort of start to look into what mitigations you can make, and that sort of thing. And then there's various different tools that we use to do these studies. We've got simulation software, scripting as well. And then of course there's the write up, and then uh, uh, liaising with the clients according to their needs and specifications.
Perfect. Thank you, Addy. And it sounds like you've been up to a lot, like I've just mentioned in the past year. So tell me a little bit more about your training and development that you've had over the last 12 months, and how has Blake Clough helped you progress and develop yourself?
So I think the kind of the work environment is very supportive
Yeah.
when it comes to sort of learning what things are, learning how to use the software, learning the different company processes. A lot of people have been very helpful in sort of explaining things to me. If I'm stuck, they'll sort of help me out. And there's quite a few different people that I can turn to in the company if I'm stuck on anything. And then I think this in combination with the kind of the work that I've been doing, uh, the kind of the work and the support has helped me to kind of develop a lot of technical understanding, software skills, and also sort of like soft skills like communication, time management, organization, all those sorts of things. So um, I think the everything's sort of come together quite well, and in terms of my kind of training and development.
Fantastic. And your career highlights so far, what would that be?
Career high. I'd say, well, I probably sort of being able to successfully finish the that offshore wind project that I mentioned earlier, because that was sort of the first project I worked on uh, at the company. And in the beginning, it was sort of when you're first new to everything, it can seem quite daunting. But
Mm.
sort of looking back on it now, how much the company supported me and how much I've learned and developed from that, I'd say that's probably quite a big highlight, because it's sort of helped me to develop and grow quite quickly.
Yeah. Lovely, perfect. Thank you very much, Abby. And I'm going to move on to you, Alex, if that's okay. So, starting off at the top, where did you go to university and what did you study?
I went to the University of Glasgow and I studied physics with astrophysics,
Yeah,
so kind of different from the actual work I'm doing right now.
yeah, okay. That's a bit of a different one. So, why
Yeah.
did you choose Blake Clough?
Well, at university, I done a course as an elective called, I think it was called The Physics of Energy or something like that, and it was talking about how climate change is affected by the electricity networks.
Mhm.
And I was like, this is very interesting. I really like this. So I just decided to try and look for more companies to do with like energy and renewables. And I found Blake Clough on GradCracker.
Fantastic. Oh, I like that last bit. Perfect. You are the star of the show so far. Thank you, Alex. So tell me a little bit about your role and what you've been up to so far over the past 12 months at Blake Clough.
Yeah, so I'm a graduate power systems consultant, but I work more on the grid side. So I deal with a lot of um, clients that want to apply for new grid connections.
Mhm.
So I walk them through where is the best place to connect, what
Yeah.
price or what size they should apply for. I also do the applications, and then once they have these offers come in, I can review them, and then I can also do different analyses on them, such as like curtailment analysis.
Perfect. Okay. So tell me about is there a specific project then that you've worked on in the last 12 months that you want to talk to us about?
Um, I'm the project contact for this one client who has, I think it's something like 40 projects.
Wow.
So I keep track of them. I follow through those projects from like the moment they were thought about to actually being connected to the electricity grid. And keeping on top of that was quite daunting at first,
Mhm.
but I'm quite pleased with how I've managed to develop my role within that and speak with authority to the client.
Mhm. It sounds like you've got a lot of responsibility for quite early on in your career as well,
Yeah.
managing all of those projects and managing clients as well. And so tell me a little bit about your learning and development and how you've learned, developed over the last 12 months and how Blake Club has helped you develop as well.
Yeah, well, since I don't come from an engineering background,
Yeah.
I was given quite a lot of support, as in I was allowed to shadow people, or I
Brilliant.
was like, paired with someone on a project and I could see exactly what they'd done. And then the company also paid for a few people who don't have a background in engineering to go through a power systems module at the University of Manchester to
Wow.
learn more about, the technical side of power
Mhm.
systems so we could better be used within the company.
Mhm. Was that module based at Manchester then, or was it based remotely and you just had to fit it in with your workload?
Yeah, it was a remote course,
Yeah.
so we done it after work.
Fantastic, lovely. And your career highlights so far?
Career highlights. I've managed to attend quite a few conferences, which
Mhm.
I I do enjoy. I'm actually heading to Ireland for a conference next month,
Mhm.
which I'm excited for. And
Yeah,
I never thought I would get the opportunity to do stuff like that.
yeah. Wow, sounds absolutely amazing. Thank you very much, Alex. Mama, you're sat there smiling away at Alex's experience. So tell me a little bit about yours. And so starting off with where you went to university and what did you study?
Hello. This I basically have done my bachelor's in electrical engineering back in Pakistan. Then, with a few years of work experience, I moved to UK, pursuing my master's at University of Manchester, and it was based like the course was renewable energy and clean technology. It was a combination of electrical power systems and renewable energy technology, green, zero carbon infrastructure and such stuff. So yeah, and then I started working at Blake Clough in December 2023. So I was doing my master's and then I started working part-time with Blake Clough along with my MSc. And I was working with them. And then once my master was completed in August, I shifted to full-time role with Blake Clough. And now I'm working full-time and it's like 3 months since I've been shifted to full-time role.
Fantastic. And I've spoken to
Yeah.
quite a lot of consultants before at Blake Clough, and I know that they are quite flexible with, helping with your studies, letting you work part-time and everything else. That's really good, Mama, that you've had that experience as well. So tell me a little bit more about your role and what you've been up to over the last couple of months.
Yeah, so I am a power system consultant here. For initially when I was working part-time, so I actually the thing is so Blake Club has provided this very flexible work condition overall, so that I mean I was able to, overall continue this with my master's, but it was a full-time master's overall. It was, a bit difficult to manage sometimes, but it was very welcoming. And for, like I started as a power system consultant, and I was working initially with some grid connection projects, curtailment studies, and like it's a bit different thing from the work I used to do back in Pakistan, but somehow people here really helped me to understand and make sense of everything which is happening in UK grid overall, because it's because of the flow of renewable energy overall in the UK. Things are quite different from where I used to work. So it was very helpful from all the people around to, make me understand all this stuff. So like I worked in curtailment, I worked in, like Alex said, in grid connections, telling client where to, connect, what price is, which grid to connect, technical and techno-commercial feasibility basically. And then since I have this power systems background, I have given opportunities to work with some power systems project as well, which included short circuit studies and protection coordination studies I've worked on. And then there was this control philosophy studies that I've worked along with this curtailment and grid connection work. So yeah, it was a good experience in that sense that you are always doing something and learning something new. There's no repetitive work, and I mean on every other project you have something new to learn.
Yeah.
So it's very exciting, and again when you learn when you do something, right? So
Brilliant,
I
yeah.
mean, having an experience of working, having an opportunity to work with different kind of projects, getting different exposures, that was a key, I guess, to learn and grow. That was very helpful overall. Yeah.
Perfect. Sounds amazing. Have you got a career highlight so far that you'd like to talk to us about?
I think career highlight would be like I had this opportunity to attend a few wind related conference, and since offshore wind is quite very growing field in UK, so seeing all those stuff happening around here was really good. And overall, like doing some uh I would say technically difficult curtailment projects. I can bring it in my highlight as well. That I was able to successfully finish it, and like I tried to make my way and learn all those new things. Yeah,
Fantastic. Sounds fantastic. And your smile just says it all, Amanda. So thank you very much for that.
thank
And
you.
absolutely last but not least, Sidan, you sat there very patiently. Lovely to meet you. Thank you for joining us today. So tell me a little bit about your background, where you went to university, and what did you study?
Hi, I'm Siddhant. I did my bachelor's in electrical engineering in India. Finished in 2021. I had a couple of years of work experience. I worked for a wind turbine manufacturer in India. Then I moved to the UK for studying an MSc in electrical power systems engineering at the University of Manchester. Uh, from 2023 onwards, 2023 September. I joined Blake Clough in 2024 December as a part-time power system consultant, just like Omama did. And I found them via Grad Cracker actually, so it's fun.
Second favourite, Sidan, you're my second favourite. After Alex, because she did it first. So tell me a little bit more about your year then, the last few months at Blake Club. So what have you been up to, and what projects have you been working on?
Yeah, so I have been focused more on the grid connections and curtailment analysis stuff. This has been since I joined part-time as well. I've been for December to September, I was part-time, and I did a lot of curtailment studies, a lot of grid connections, feasibility studies, and so on. And in the past 3-4 months, I've been doing a bit of scripting work, trying to help our processes get better, like try to optimize the way we do things, and then talking with a lot of client, liaising with them, and trying to get more work, but majorly focused around curtailment studies last three
Lovely.
4 months as well.
Super, thank you. And talk to us a little bit more about training and development, and what kind of training you've had in the last few months.
The way I say it is Blake Clough is a bit of trial by fire, if you can
Yeah.
say that, because you because you're really like thrown into it, into all the projects when you start. Like it's not about like people have this structured 2 years, 3 years where you kind of learn things, but here you're kind of thrown into it.
Yeah.
Like we get a lot of help from seniors as well, like your principal consultants, your managers, and all the other colleagues as well. But kind of thrown into it, and that kind of builds a sense of ownership into the
Yeah.
work that you do. And it also helps a lot in time management, as because for example in grid connections and curtailments we have a very time bound projects, like 15 working days, 20 working days, maximum a month or so. So like you kind of have to do it very quickly, and then you have a lot of help as well. So I think kind of it kind of helps a lot in terms of like building you really quickly to get a lot of good how to manage your time, and how to like do things very quickly as well.
I think learning on the job is one of the best ways that you can learn, because you're just kind of thrown in there and you just need to pick it all up, but with obviously the help and support of your colleagues as well, which sounds amazing. So tell me a little bit more, if you can just pick one. I know there's lots, but your career highlights so far at Blake Clough.
So I would think one of the projects that I did, it was a curtailment project for a client. The thing was that it was a very complicated network, and we didn't really have a model of the network ready. So, and we only had 15 days to deliver it. So I remember I sat like drawing an entire model in Excel and connecting it, and then so the way is that the distribution DNOs don't really provide data as easily as we hope they would do. So you kind of have to get data specifically. So, trying to model this entire thing and how the power is flowing and how it affects the curtailment. It was a very complicated project, but we're able to do it within the time, and it's something that I really really proud of at that moment.
Really enjoyable. Perfect. Thank you very much for that, Sid, and thank you all for joining us today and giving us your stories. And I'm definitely 100% sure that people watching this webinar will be inspired by your journey so far. And then maybe this time next year, they'll be joining me on a webinar and tell me all about their stories as well. So good luck, everybody, when you get your applications in. Remember to tell the recruitment team that you watched this webinar, listen to everybody's stories, and then that will just show that you've done your research and that you really want to apply to Blake Clough. But for now, thank you very much, everybody, and we'll see you all again soon.